Eurasian siskins are a lovely species of bird to keep, but beyond those calm whistles and that soft appearance, they might be a little bit more tricky. My first pair of siskins came in 2019. They were a gorgeous pair of birds with great colour, really active and very quite friendly as well. They were a real pleasure to watch. This made them super good breeders. They readily went to nest and were not bothered by my presence whatsoever. Their first nest came in May. The hen built inside a small canary nest pan lined in felt. She built a nest out of grasses, cotton and wool, and it was the perfect environment for rearing chicks and incubating eggs. However, once the hen had completed her nest, she always seemed to be sat on there without incubating any eggs, which I thought was really strange. I decided after several weeks of this, I would remove the nest and allow them to rebuild. If the hen was not mature for that first clutch, hopefully a month later, she would now be mature enough to lay eggs again. But they did exactly the same again. Built a lovely little nest, but once again, no eggs. And that was until I noticed something. As I looked down in the far corner of the aviary, just out of my general view, I could see some small blue speckled eggshells. And what were they doing there on the floor? Now I needed to investigate this. Why were the eggs not in the nest, but rather smashed over on the floor? So I decided to set up a camera and see what was happening. A couple of weeks later, I noticed this. The cockbird was going into the nest and helping himself to some breakfast every morning when the hen was laying, piercing the eggs, taking them to the far corner and eating the insides of them. So clearly we had an egg eater and egg breaker cockbird, so I needed to fix this if I was going to successfully breed the siskins. For the third clutch, I decided to put the nest right next to the aviary door, which would make it really easy to access for myself. Every time the hen laid an egg, I would remove that egg and replace it with a dummy egg. Therefore, the cockbird could not eat that dummy egg and I could keep the real ones safe and secure. Once the hen had laid all 5 eggs, I removed the male bird from the aviary, put the real eggs back in the nest, and then she incubated those eggs and reared those 5 chicks without a problem. In the years that followed, as I bred this same line of siskins, those same issues did persist, and it turns out that that is a common problem known in siskins. So I had to adapt my husbandry once again, whether it was either removing the males or offering them a distraction. The distraction came in the form of a pair of greenfinches. What I decided to do was have some larger aviaries that would house a pair of greenfinches in each, and I would then also add some siskins in there. This meant that the hen could go to nest, keep her eggs or chicks safe and secure, and I could leave the male siskin in there who was more interested in what the greenfinches were doing around him than bothering the hen. By doing this, it was very successful, and I'd managed to breed siskins for several consecutive years. Now, I've not had siskins in about 3 or 4 years now, but they are something I'd like to try again at some point. Of course, do remember, with all the British birds you see on this channel, they are captive bred and close run in accordance to the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981. Have you kept and bred European siskins before? Let me know in the comments.